to Horse Talk, where we are going to talk about 5 things I don't teach my horses to ensure they are soft and responsive and safe to ride and also to avoid bad habits. Yes, so this, of course, ensures that we have less work in a way because by avoiding teaching our horses a couple of stuff, we for the first we don't spend time on it, and secondly, it, at least in my experience, makes the horse easier to train and we have a reduced risk of bad habits. And I think the number one thing I don't teach horses is to scrape with their front feet. And I know that none of us, we do not want to intentionally teach horses to scrape with their front feet. But I also see a whole lot of trick training going on, and it's very easy to teach the horse to, lift their front feet and do cute things with their front feet, which can very often, at least in my experience, motivate the horse to start scraping, because horses start scraping and lifting their front feet, when they are impatient. And yeah, why teach it? I rather teach them to use their hind legs and activate the hind. I don't teach them any front leg tricks. So, saves me lots of time and makes it less likely the horse starts scraping. And there's another thing I don't teach the horses, and that is a head down cue. And I know very many trainers say that this is the best thing you can teach any horse is to, tap them here or there or give a cue and the horse puts the head down. In my experience, not necessarily, because horses, they communicate with their necks. So a stressed horse will often have a stiff and high neck, and they can still be stiff and stressed with their head down if we have taught them a head down cue. So taking their head down doesn't make them relaxed, it just puts their head down. But what I found is that when the horse is relaxed, the head will come down automatically. So I might release on the horse, bringing the head down. If I'm putting on a bridle or something, horse relaxes, takes the head down, I release on it. But I don't teach them a head down cue, because I've seen a couple of horses who have been trained specifically to put their head down, and they do it even though they are stressed and want to have their necks up. So I don't spend any time teaching them a head down cue. The head will come down from self when the horse is relaxed. Yes, because I don't want to mess with their body language, basically. And another thing I also don't teach them is to stand still while scared. And I know quite a few of you probably are not intentionally trying to teach your horses to stand still while scared. But this can very often happen if we, desensitize the horse and flap plastic all around them, and the horse is standing still while being scared, and we then reward the horse for standing still without necessarily realizing that the horse is scared and standing still. Yeah, so we have to read their body language. So it's better that the horse actually moves when scared than that they stop and go into freeze mode, which we can easily teach them. Or we can also, in a way, reward bad behavior by stopping the horse. Yes. So if the horse is bucking or something and we go like, oh, we have to stop, and the horse stops, we haven't necessarily solved the bucking. We have just stopped the horse. Or if we desensitize the horse and we confuse the horse for standing still with being relaxed. Yes, stuff like that. And again, activating their hind legs and getting them to cross over behind and become soft in their bodies works a lot better than them standing still and being stiff. Yes, so let me know in the comments below if you have fallen into one of these pitfalls. Yes, I know it's very easy pitfall to fall into, because we automatically want to stop if things go south. But horses, they often they move into relaxation, and making them stand still while scared can cause them to go into freeze mode, and we don't want that. Yes. And another thing I also don't teach them is to stop while pooping. Yes. And I have just found that if we allow the horses to stop when pooping, they will do it no matter what. So it tends to kind of ruin our leg aid, because if the horse is then accustomed to stop and stand still while pooping and we give leg aid, the horse is going to ignore the leg aid. And the horse is also going to do this even though a truck is coming towards them. You know, they will stop no matter what. So I keep them moving. I don't allow the horse to stop to poop, because I don't want to teach them to stop while pooping. But obviously, it's your horse, so you can do whatever you want. And if you are here, let me know in the comments below if you allow your horse to stop while pooping or not. I don't do it, because I also think if the horse kind of stops and stares at stuff, and we stop and stare at stuff at the same time with the horse, we are not necessarily being a leader they can trust. So I see this is quite a common mistake. Like, we are leading the horse here, and the horse stops and we stop. The horse is looking at something and we start looking at it. And we are basically telling the horse that, you know, this could be something dangerous over there. And if you have seen a herd move around, what usually happens if they come to a scary place, they will first stop and they will stare, and then they spin around and run in the other direction if they decide that what they're looking at is dangerous. And for a horse, it just basically confirms to them that what they are insecure about is scary. So if I'm leading a horse and the horse stops, I continue walking and get the horse forwards. So I want the horse to stop when I'm stopping, but I don't want to stop when the horse is stopping. And basically the same when riding. And I also think that's why I don't want to teach my horses to stop to poop. Because if the horse decides when to stop, they might also decide when to bolt. So I think to be a leader they can trust, that they can find reassurance from, we have to kind of be the one who, in a way, decides what's dangerous and what's not. And we can accidentally communicate to the horse that stuff is dangerous that isn't necessarily dangerous if they are stopping here and there and everywhere. And we, in a way, show empathy with them for stopping by stopping ourselves. I hope this makes sense. So if your horse stops and you are leading, keep on walking and get the horse a bit forwards before you stop. And the same when riding. If you are riding and the horse is stopping to look at something, I would get that horse moving. And the same if the horse wants to stop to poop. You know, they don't need to stop to poop. They can do that while moving. Yes. Okay, and the last thing I don't want to teach the horses, and I think no one wants to teach any horse, is to go against pressure in the lead rope or in the reins. But this is very easy to actually teach horses if we are not mindful of where the release is. And that's like it happens very often in terms of leading a horse. If we lead a horse and the horse stops and there's pressure on the lead rope, and we then give a slack, we have just taught the horse to go against pressure in the lead rope. And like with young horses and such, this can often happen because they don't know how to respond to pressure in the lead rope. So we have to maybe wait until the horse figures out to step forwards. They don't have to step a lot forwards, but just a little bit. But if we have an already trained horse and we're not aware of this, and the horse starts stopping and we, give a slack to that instead of waiting for the horse to step forwards off the pressure, we can easily teach them to go against pressure in the lead rope. And this will often then manifest when we try to then lead the horse through a doorway or into a trailer or something. And, the horse stops and doesn't know how to move off of pressure in the lead rope. So this is kind of an important skill that all horses need to be able to do, to be able to tie properly and to be able to understand, basic pressure in the lead rope means step forwards. And if we are not aware of where the release is, we can easily teach them to ignore this. And that's when we get into trouble with the trailer loading or other stuff. Yes. Or it can happen with the reins. So it's like when kids are learning to ride, they might often, switch reins. So they might want to go to, the right. So they pick up on the right rein, but the horse doesn't want to go there. So they switch to the left rein and go from there to the right. So kids are very often more, focused on where they are going than what riding signal they have given. And we as adults can, sometimes fall into that pitfall as well. So we kind of go, okay, the horse doesn't want to go with this rein, so we just use the other rein to get where we're going. We just taught the horse that picking up the left rein, the right rein means pull to the left. So we need to be kind of mindful of every time we need to give a signal, either with the lead rope or with the rein, we need to release when the horse is doing the right thing and not start over or start with another rein. Yes. So that's probably the easiest way to teach horses to go against pressure in the lead rope or in the rein. Yep. So there's another thing that I also think can make it very easy to teach horses to go against pressure, and that's if we use a lot of pressure all the time. Because horses, they will seek out of the pressure and they will then find a way to go against it. So if we are leading our horse with a lot of pressure all the time, we can make the horse, stronger. And the same if we are riding with the reins and we have lots of pressure on the reins all the time. Very often we think it's support, but the horse might experience it as pressure. We also tend to wear out our rein aid. So having a little slack in the reins there when riding, so that makes it easier to give signals without using more pressure, and also having a longer lead rope when leading. So basically the lead ropes you buy in the horse tack store, they are too short to be able to lead a horse with what I would call feel and not use pressure, because the ropes are so short that we are so close to the horse. But if we have a longer rope, it's much easier to teach the horse about feel and to teach the horse, to respond correctly to the slack going out of the lead rope. Yep, and that's what I found, especially with horses who want to pull for the grass. The shorter the lead rope, the more tempting the grass becomes. But the longer lead rope you have, the less interesting the grass actually becomes. And I think this is a little bit because the horse wants to get away from the pressure in the lead rope and go to the grass. But when there's no pressure to go away from, they rather follow us on a slack lead. And the grass isn't as interesting anymore. There's a couple of other things too that I do to be able to do this. But if you want to lead your horse on a loose rein through the grass, then comment yes below and I will give you a free training that teaches your horse both to lead and ride on a loose rein through the grass. So that you can, not accidentally teach your horse to go against pressure and at the same time reward your horse for doing it. Yes, so that has definitely changed very much for me and my horses, is to be able to, lead and ride through the grass on a loose rein without them pulling for the grass, because that can definitely accidentally teach the horses to go against pressure, both in the lead rope and in the rein, while getting a reward in the form of a mouthful of grass for doing so. So comment yes below and solve this right away. Yep, with a special training that I have made that works really well, even with horses who have been pulling for grass for years. Yes. So that was all for this evening, and thank you so much for joining, and see you next time. Okay, bye for now.